Week number 1 of the Iowa high school football season. Hard to believe we're already here. I'm Matt Chenander, joined by Voice of the Bears, Jason Miller, for this weekly preview. Jason, the Bears are welcoming the Williamsburg Raiders to Butch Peterson Field Friday, and there's nothing like kicking off the season against the Class 3A state champions, huh?
Well, the schedule makers decided the last couple of years the Bears needed a challenge, and nothing like challenging them with Kurt Ritchie coached Raiders. Hats off to the Raiders. Kurt Ritchie is honestly one of the nicest guys, one of the best guys in the profession, and no other more deserving coach that outside of West Branch that I know than Coach Ritchie for a state title. So hats off to them.
Yeah, really great program over there. Really great coaching staff. Great teams. So it's going to be a challenge. Jason, I know you've taken a look at Williamsburg a bit here, just kind of preparing for the game. The one thing that kind of stands out to me is just as kind of on paper, lost 18 seniors, I think I counted. That's a lot of experience lost. From your perspective and everything you've been able to gather, is that going to be a big blow, kind of like it is to West Branch, as we'll talk about, or were there a lot of underclassmen that were contributing last year that can kind of now step up with another year under their belt?
Great points, Matt. I think everybody's going to talk about Derek Weiskopf just because he's going to play for the Hawkeyes. But people forget, if you look at the West Branch game and against Williamsburg last year in the first game, there was a guy that accounted for 5 touchdowns in the first half, passing and rushing, that people aren't even talking about because by the end of the year, he wasn't even their starting quarterback anymore. Kellen Cockrell. And think about that. He had, I want to say, 23 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, threw for like 1,200 yards, and 270 of them were against West Branch in the first half of the first game. Then he gets injured. Of course, then you got to put the ball in the hands of your best athlete, which was Derek Weiskopf. And they lose 4 offensive linemen, man, and obviously we know that's where it all begins. But the one thing they do have coming back, when you talk about human Swiss Army knives on a football team, Race Heitman comes to mind. Kid scored 4 rushing touchdowns. He also had 10 receiving touchdowns, led the defense in tackles for loss with 21.5 tackles for loss, also led the team he tied for the lead in fumble recoveries with 2, and led the team, I believe, in interceptions are tied with Derek Weiskopf for 4. And he also is a leading kickoff returner, leading punt returner. The kid does everything you want a kid to do, and he's back. And he changed numbers. You're going to look for number 6. He's number 0, and you're going to see a lot of him on Friday night.
Yeah, gonna be a tough challenge. Flipping on the other side, the Bears. They're coming into the season replacing a lot of seniors. 15 of them last year, and all of them played a pivotal role in the success of last season. But you mentioned Coach Ritchie over there trying to find some offensive linemen to fill those spots. West Branch kind of the same thing. You don't just lose Logan Wright, Max Lodge, Reese Trepanier, and company and expect to fill things right back in and keep things going. Or is that what the Bears are doing? How are they filling those holes from what you've seen here in the preseason?
Right. Yeah. Logan Wright, I think he had 7 years of eligibility. Seems like he's been playing since like 2015 for West Branch. And he's done so much on offense, but defensively is he was the district defensive player of the year for 2 years. Reese Trepanier comes to West Branch as more of an athlete linebacker, unselfishly turns himself into a fantastic lineman. He is the heart and soul of that offensive line at the center position and also at a linebacker position on the defense. Lost there in Max Lodge, also 3-year starter at offensive line. So you take those kids away who, by the way, Reese played for 3 years on the offensive line. That is 9 years combined with 3 guys on an offensive line. West Branch does have a guy back who's starting in his 3rd year as a junior in Mike Montgomery. Cole Crosswaite, 2nd-year starter this year. And Tate Franz is also going to jump in there at the center spot. Got some time last year at the center and at guard and tackle a little bit as well. But then they'll fill some spots with senior Dylan Sheely jumps in, Matt, and also junior Finn McCullough, whose brother graduated a couple years ago, was a receiver for the Bears.
A lot of young talent on both sides of the ball that got a lot of really great playing time last year that I think it's going to be fun to see their progression this season as we make our way through it. And I mean, I know we're going to be in week 8 before we even know it here. That's just the way that this works. Jason, real quick, before we end things here from a coaching staff perspective, we of course have new head coach John Nestor coming in. Jared Tiley is returning to the coaching staff to run the offense. On the fresh off side of things, Stephen Grace gets the talents of former Bears Kevin Stout, Drew Finnegan, Drake Berry. A nice coaching staff to help John's transition to the program and just everything that this program has been about, wouldn't you say?
I think so. And good move on his behalf of keeping a lot of the guys around. I mean, you look at everybody on the staff, and I think we mentioned this when we did an interview with him, Matt, at the media day. Of the 97 coaches, no, I'm just kidding. Of the 12 coaches, I think 10 to 12 coaches on staff with Coach Nestor, only one of them did not wear a West Branch football jersey as a high school football player. But that one guy, Dan Zuniga, was a heck of a football player at Columbus Junction, and we can say that he's pretty entrenched in West Branch now, as his wife is, as he's a member of the Butch Peterson family and has been around the community for many years. He knows what West Branch football is all about, and then some. So it's going to be, I mean, if Coach Nestor wanted, he's not coming in here with a staff willy-nilly. He's coming in hungry, and man, there's nothing better than putting a menu item of the defending 3A state champs on there to get your coaching career started up. But it's going to be a beautiful night. I looked at the field, it's already lined. It looks fake again, which means it's in beautiful shape. It almost looks like a turf field. I certainly would love to try my sand wedge out there at about the 23-yard line to see how I could do through the uprights, Matt. But Friday night, let's just hope the Bears they're on target.
Yeah, just make sure you fill your divots.
Yeah. Replace your divots, kids. Replace your divots.
So varsity kicks off at 7:30 Friday, which they're following Fresh Off, who kicks off at 5 p.m. The Bearcast will have the call live for the varsity game starting at 7:15. You can watch it on the West Branch Football YouTube channel. Head to westbranchfootball.com for more information there. Speaking of the Bearcast, Jason, before we wrap up, I wanted to touch on that. You're now the voice of the Bears, and we'll be on the play-by-play this season. Tell me a bit about what you're looking forward to there and what Bears fans can expect.
What I'm looking forward to the most is, as I've mentioned this, what's it been, 2 or 3 years ago in our send-off episode of the Talking Bear Football podcast.
Right here on westbranchfootball.com.
That my dream as a child, my older brother, John, his dream was always to be a voice of the Hawkeyes, and he did that. I always wanted to be the voice of the West Branch Bears. That was just a dream. And I got to be a P announcer for 18 years and now transitioning over here to fill the big shoes that have been left empty by Mike Quinlan, who did it for 18 years. And before that, Wayne Lang did it for, I think, 49 years, for about 25, 28 years maybe. And then the original voice of the Bears, sideline Jerry Flagel, from 83 to 87, I believe. So I'm just hoping between them and with Steven's professional experience that also was lended his voice to the Bearcast, that I can just kind of continue where they left off to build excitement for the fans, but more so that we put a good product out there that's something 20 years from now that maybe the kids will still, when they're 40-year-olds and have families, and I'm going to relive their glory days, that they can be proud of. My style, Matt, is going to be I'm a cadence guy. I'm a rah-rah guy. Obviously, I'm a big West Branch fan, but I'm really going to try to keep it get as close to a product as you might hear on a Saturday afternoon with Gary Dolphin as I can. I'm never going to be that guy. I'm just going to do my best to be the voice of the West Branch Bears. And I'm looking forward to it and kicking it off with Coach Randy Sexton as my color commentary guy this week.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, we'll catch you at the game or on the Bearcast Friday night. Go Bears.
Go Bears.